I have a sample of a female leaf insect, Phyllium philippinicum. This one's from the Philippines. It's just died naturally, and I'm going to make a specimen out of it. Now, this green color is very difficult to preserve, and I've experimented with this over the years with several different techniques involving soaking them in solvents. I've gotten some pretty good result with some of the stick insects, but less so with these leaf insects. Some of the ones you see, specimens of this that are mounted for sale, or dried specimens, they're dyed. They put color on them. And it's okay. It's better than one that looks all brown and rotten, but it doesn't really look like this. So I'm going to experiment with a different technique today and see if I can get some better results. But before I do that, you can see the abdomen is quite full on this specimen. She still has some eggs inside of her. So I'm going to cut her open and take the eggs out. I know that through my experimenting in the past that these eggs, some of these eggs will be viable, and so I'd rather not waste those. So I'm going to take my little scissors and just make a cut along the bottom of the abdomen. Now, this is also useful for cleaning out the gut of this specimen, because they preserve much better if you remove all that moist tissue. So I'm going to use my tweezers and reach in here up to the front part and grab the top of the gut, and it should come out in one good blob, which it did. And then back here are the ovaries. Yes, lots of eggs in here. We'll see how many of these eggs are actually mature. Some of these eggs might not be mature. They're fairly small in this species. Let's see if I can get an egg here. They're really odd-shaped egg. It has like a little round top, and they're sort of bristly. So I'm going to pull the rest of this gut out of here. I think some of these might be viable. This is kind of gross. I don't enjoy this part of it, but you would not be able to preserve the specimen at all if you didn't remove all of this gut. Okay, I'm going to get on this side, reach down up into the anterior portion. There we go. And pull that out. Ovaries. There. Okay, now I'm going to take a cotton swab and reach inside here and clean it out as much as I can. Yeah. Now, typically I soak these insects, grasshoppers, katydids, leaf insects, the things that tend to discolor when they die. I usually soak them in acetone, and it works pretty well, but on these Phyllium it seems to just completely bleach out the color. It just wipes it out. So what I'm going to do, I know the acetone is there's a good example of an egg. Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a quick dip in acetone, just a very quick sort of wash, and then I'm going to soak it in isopropyl alcohol. The isopropyl alcohol is much less intense of a solvent, and if I just soak them in alcohol, I don't really get good results either. So I think I'm going to try this. Just a quick acetone bath and then into isopropyl and see if that makes a difference. So, oh, there's some more gut in there. I'm going to keep working on this. And we'll see if that might be the right combination. I've experimented a bit with ether, which I get from starting fluid that you use in a car during car work. There's an egg in there yet I'm trying to get out. There's two of them actually. And I had some success with that on a fiddler crab, But I've experimented with ether on some of these insects too, and it seems to be too strong. It ends up just bleaching it out, kind of ruining the specimen. You can see here, I don't know if you can, when I've gone inside and swabbed this out, it's become transparent. Here, look, let's see if I can see. Yeah, see the green has just been removed here, so it just looks transparent. Now it's not so much an issue with this specimen looking good, because from above, which is how this is going to be seen, the wings cover up the body. So I think mostly it's just trying to get these legs to look good, the legs to be the right color, and the head and such. Right, now I've got a little tin pie plate here I'm going to use for the acetone. I think she'll fit in there well enough. Yeah. Now acetone is volatile and toxic, so I want to be careful how we use this. Normally we do this outside. I'm inside, but I'm going to do this pretty quickly. So I'm just going to hold the opening there a little bit and get it inside. Yeah, there we go. I want that inside the body. And I'm just going to give this a little quick rinse for maybe just a couple of minutes. This acetone, I notice, reacts pretty quickly with an exoskeleton, and I feel it gets stiff. It does something chemically to the cuticle of the animal, and I think that might just be enough. But when I've done this in the past, just a quick dip, then it ends up turning brown. It's like it's not enough. And then if I soak it for a long time, then it just turns it all yellow and discolored. It's just bleaching it out a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to call that enough and shake this off. I'm going to get rid of this acetone quick. I'll be right back. And now I'm going to use isopropyl alcohol for a little bit longer soak. And perhaps this combination will... Yeah, I can definitely feel this exoskeleton has stiffened. It's almost like the acetone does something to the tissue, maybe like you cook an egg. So this isopropyl alcohol is ethanol, 30% water, 70% isopropyl alcohol, so it's not quite as strong of a solvent. Alright, I've been soaking this for about an hour and a half now, and I've just been monitoring it, and it doesn't seem to be bleaching out too much, so I'm going to leave it a little bit longer. But I got an idea. It's difficult to get the alcohol inside the head, I think, so I'm going to use a syringe, and I'm going to suck up some of this alcohol. Denatured alcohol is what I've used before that I thought was a little too strong, and I'm going to inject this into the head area just to make sure that whatever moisture is in there is exposed to the alcohol. I'm going to put a little in the thorax here too, just to make sure, because it's the trapped moisture, I think, which makes it discolor as it dries out. Alright, since this is not bleaching out, I'm going to leave it a little bit longer. Yeah, it still looks pretty good. It's been about 2.5 hours, and I think I'm going to dry it out at this point and pin it. Yeah, I'm going to drain the alcohol out of it. Piece of paper towel here. Now I have an idea. I'm going to try something I haven't tried before. I'm going to use a hairdryer. Try and dry it quickly and see if that makes a difference. I think it might. So I'm going to pin this up. Normally I would fill this abdomen with spun polyester fibers, but I'm going to leave it open. I'm going to let it really dry out fast. Okay. I'm going to use a stainless steel pin. I like to get everything really symmetrical. Now, I don't want to cook this thing too much. I just want to dry it out, so I'm going to put the dryer on low. And let's see what happens. I've used this to dry like tarantulas or big spiders or something that I want to dry it quickly so it doesn't rot. So let's give it a try. Alright, so I won't film all of this. I'll just keep drying until I feel like it's done. Well, I've been running the dryer on this for about 15 minutes, and there's a little bit of discoloration in the abdomen here. There was some tissue maybe stuck in there, which is something I might pay attention to for a future specimen. But even though this is a little bleached out, I'm really thrilled with how this looks. If it keeps this color, I'm going to be really pleased. It's certainly within the range of color of a normal specimen. They do vary a bit, and it looks much better than the other specimens I have in the collection, which I will show you. So I think this is a success. Well, I ran the dryer on this for a little bit longer and let it sit overnight, and it appears to be dry now, and I'm actually really pleased with how it turned out. It's quite faded, but these insects, if you don't do anything to them, they just look sort of mottled brown and kind of rotten. And so even though this is pretty pale, I like the way it turned out. And again, this species does come in a variety of color, from green to yellow and everything in between. And I think I might have a yellow one too. I'll show you a live one. But I'm thrilled with how it turned out. So I think I'm on to something. Pull the pins down. I think I might experiment a little bit with different lengths of time soaking in the alcohol. But I think that combination of acetone and alcohol really did the trick. Now I'm going to make a label for it, and since this is a captive raised specimen, I don't really have much for data other than the species and the country of origin, the Philippines. Let's see. Oh yeah, this wing is a little bit warped too, but again, not surprising. There's a little dark spot here in the abdomen, and I think it's just because I failed to remove a little piece of gut in there, and I don't know, I might be able to get to that still. I'm going to get my... It's over there. No. I'm going to get my skinny tweezers and see if I can get that out. See if I can get in there. Nah, it's pretty solid. But in future specimens, I'll be sure and get that out of there. There we go. I got some of it. Yeah. I'm going to work on that some more. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it's just a little bit of gut that was left. That's a little better. I think I better leave well enough alone at that point. Okay, alright, now I'll make a label for it. Philippines. And the genus is Phyllium. Philippinicum. Ex ova means it was raised, captive raised. Ex out of the egg, ex ova. 2018. And it's female. Okay. Always put a label on with whatever information you have. There. Alright. Let's look at a live one. This is a real green one. This is most typical for this species, I think, the green ones. I had some that were really yellow, and I thought I might have had another one, but I just can't find it right now. They really look like leaves, don't they? Look at that little shuddering walk they have. They kind of wiggle side to side. Yeah, they're beautiful. I love these things. They're amazing. A little more sensitive than your typical stick insect keep. A little more fussy about humidity and temperature. I feed mine on bramble. There's a couple of species of these in captivity. I have males and females of this. I think I'll try and find a male for you. I know I have a live male left. Oh, I found the yellow one. And it really isn't far off from the prepared specimen. Yeah, that actually could just be a yellow one. And I'm sure there's some advantage to that, just in a forest habitat. One color might have a little bit better advantage over another. It might be good to have some variation. And of course, variation is what drives evolution, so these have that variation. There's a beetle in South America too, Solignathus frendi. They come in blue or green, and even from the same populations in the same location. Alright, I'm going to see if I can find the male. Yes, I found a male. And they're considerably smaller. Look at the size difference. And the males have wings, and they can actually fly. Like I would say all the phasmids and quite a few other insects, the males are a lot smaller because they don't need a large body mass to produce eggs. The males are also very short-lived. I don't know, I'm guessing the adults of these live for, once they reach maturity, they live for a few more months laying eggs, and the males, I think it's a matter of weeks after they get to mature that they're just shorter lived. There may be some advantage in this within populations. If the males are a lot shorter lived, they're probably not going to mate with their siblings, because if they hatch at the same time, the males are all dead by the time the females reach maturity. I wish I could get him to fly for you. There you go, fly. Come on. Nope, he's just not going to do it. It's a nice looking bug though. Certainly good camouflage. Oh, there he goes. The wings are transparent. See if he'll do it again. Yeah, whoa. And then, just for fun, I have a nymph of different species. This is Phyllium giganteum. The largest species, hence the name. This one's only third instar out of 6, I think. So they get quite big. Maybe that big. I don't have any adults right now. All I have are the juveniles. But I'll show you an adult in the collection. Alright, so this is my phasmid box from my teaching collection, and you can see how these Phyllium are really not anywhere nearly as nicely colored as this. Yeah, that looks much better. This is a good example of one that just sort of dried without much treatment, and it really looks pretty crappy. This is the giganteum. You can see it's quite a bit bigger. I'll put the male in next to him, and we'll keep the biosculatum until I get a better specimen of it. You always, you know, a crappy specimen's better than none at all. These are the eggs. You can see they look like little seeds. The eggs of this one. Alright, so we'll put this one like this. Yeah. And then we'll put this male in. And when I get a better looking male, I'll put the better looking male in. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, that's much improvement. Okay. So I've got a new technique for preserving these. I'll probably do some more. I have these Heteropteryx, which are really great, gigantic stick insects, and they lose a lot of their color too. They look a lot better alive. So I have some dead ones of these, and I'm going to try my new solvent technique, and I will make a video about that too.